We are joined in the studio by the lovely Scarlett Santa Maria.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, it's me. And Sam.
Oh, yeah, me too. And we also have...
Myxzplix.
We have Myxzplix.
Yeah.
And
John Vilotti.
John Vilotti. Welcome back to the studio, folks.
Yeah, so we're back for the second part of the interview.
Yes.
And I want to know, where did Techniche originated? Like, what inspired you to create this?
I guess that'd be my question. Wow. Well, I have a really good relationship with Rich's. I've DJ'd there for a long time. And I've been wanting to do a night. I've done a couple of nights, a couple of events, different venues, with John, in fact. And in the main room in Rich's, on Thursday nights they have their ladies' night, which they do the front room, and then the back room is, now it's occupied. Now we're doing house, but we're also doing Techniche, of course. But I just looked at the room, and I really love the club. You know, I have a really good relationship with the club and the staff.
Oh yeah,
and
Rich is awesome.
They're really helpful and really supportive. And they have probably one of the best sound systems in the city.
Really?
Yeah. In my opinion.
Oh yeah, you go in,
They do.
it's almost like a music festival in there.
It's awesome. Yeah, best sound and lighting system. So kudos to the Rich's team for that.
You're in for a great time.
Yeah. So I just looked at it, and I wanted to do something. And you know, I've been playing house and techno for a long time, and I kind of gravitated a little bit more towards tech house and techno. I was playing before, out in different events, and I was playing for a thing called Subdivision's radio show as well. And I just needed to do a night, and I asked, hey, can I do a night here? And they said sure. And I've been blessed with that, and with them giving the get-go. And I just said I got to do something for obviously for me. I'll admit it's a little bit selfish, but I needed an outlet.
Yeah.
To play.
That's where you
music
let go. That's where you are yourself.
Yeah.
You would say, because
Yeah.
I've seen you play with both as Moody Rudy and Myxzplix.
Yeah.
So I see you more in your element when you're playing techno, definitely.
Yeah, that's my heart and soul. And I didn't want to compromise on playing just anywhere. I mean, I love playing guest spots, but I just said this room needs something. It just needs to happen.
Yeah. So what separates you guys from other techno events? And you can both answer, like, your opinions.
Well, I don't know. That's not really a simple question. Or there's not really a simple answer to that question, I guess I should say. I don't know. I think just the consistency of it, but there's so many events going on that are so good.
And your theme too, like with the astronaut, like, where'd that come from? I love it, by the way.
The astronaut?
Yeah, you guys always have like the astronaut hanging in it, and you guys have more like a
Yeah.
cosmic, like intergalactic feel.
Well,
like,
when I started doing the designs, I was just kind of looking for some inspiration, for some, to kind of get it going. And I just, with the logo, it seemed very futuristic. And there was this one image, the first astronaut image that we've used, and we still use, and it just seemed to pair really well. And then I thought about the astronaut in itself as a metaphor. The astronaut is a brave person who wants to explore new territory through technological means. So that just seemed to kind of fit with what we're doing. And in turn, it kind of made a mascot for us.
yeah,
and,
it's always there.
And then we just, I just decided in my head, like, hey, let's make an astronaut so we can hang, from the ceiling, and he can spin around, and it'd be a good prop. I think one of the things, and it's not to say that it separates us, because like John said, there are other crews that do events, but the one thing that we do, that we try to do, at least with Techniche, is to make it as an experience and not just like one night. It's just something you can kind of immerse yourself into. For me, a club is about that. It's about letting go, just searching for yourself and your personality, and letting go into the music, but everything else around it needs to be in sync as well.
Yeah, definitely.
The lighting and the decor helps, and obviously the people and the atmosphere, and it's if anybody's been to Techniche and been to Rich's, you know how big that room is. it's not, you know, huge, but it's definitely one of the bigger rooms in San Diego, so you need to kind of fill it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So,
and
for us, it was
it's
just
so
like,
fun,
yeah,
and
let's put
it's
something
a
in.
struggle for me because I work there as a shot girl. And sometimes I just want to throw my shots and just start dancing because the music and the bills are so good. I'm like, why do I have to work?
Right?
No, I think it's an
Just do it.
interesting.
Just throw your shots at me.
I think it's an interesting juxtaposition between astronaut imagery, just kind of floating in a dark, empty space, and kind of the exact polar opposite of that is filling a space with light and sound and people. It's the absence of empty space. What you're trying to do is create an experience, like you said.
Yeah.
It's so interesting seeing how people craft that brand too. Like, where can you see Techniche elsewhere in San Diego? Like, are there any other events that you've seen that kind of you drew inspiration from, or anything you've done?
In San Diego? Not really, I'll be honest. For me, a lot of the models and the influences that I get are outside of San Diego. They're more international.
Mhm.
You know, people like Adam Bayer and Drum Code.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of the heavy hitters and just a lot of the European things. And also too, for me, it was kind of the old school like DJ aspect. And if some people remember like 90s house, you'll know like Junior Vasquez and Danny Tenaglia, like these legendary New York nightclubs. And it's where these guys played weekly, and they played, you know, by themselves. Like Junior Vasquez is known for playing like 12, 16-hour sets, you know, there. And that was kind of part of the impetus is like, okay, let's do that. It's like, let's bring it back to kind of the residents, you know, and create an identity. And it's great that we have guests, you know, by all means, and it's great that we do that.
Well,
but we wanted to have like a signature, something that people can go, oh, I know, you know, what I'm going to get when I go.
Yeah, this is what
you know.
Techniche is like. It's like, this is what I'm gonna remember.
Yeah.
And I have a question,
Sure.
and you guys can both answer individually if you want.
Sure.
Is there a moment as a DJ or in the Techniche career that you guys both have that was really positive and that you remember, like a special moment that you're like, okay, this is it, like I made it, or this is like something that I will remember forever?
I mean, I can't recall one specific. There's been like several probably, but I mean, it's always nice when the dance floor is full. You know, you feel like you're doing the job right. You're doing
But
something
you don't have
right.
like any
And it's
specific,
sort of like a positive affirmation.
yeah, but any
Um,
specific event that you remember that was like impacting to your life?
I mean, it's hard because there's so many that I've just built off of one another. It's hard to just recall one specifically. I know when we took Techniche to Vegas, that was awesome,
Oh,
and
there
that
you
was
go.
just fun. I
That
know
sounds
that was
awesome.
outside of
Shout out
Riches.
to John Joseph and
Yeah.
parties.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Red
Hello,
Parties
John
was
Joseph.
awesome. Yeah. No, that was awesome for them to include us with that, and I know that's outside of Riches, which we were just hyping up, but you know, it's like every event. There's always a unique experience.
Yeah.
There's something that happens with every event to me where I'm just like, I got to keep doing this. This is why I'm doing it, and this is what I love about you know, playing music, and this is what I love about this genre of music is that it's just, you know, there's something different about it, and it's hard to put into words. But I feel like every event, there's always something that does exactly what you're asking me. It just makes me want to keep going. That stands out.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, I think for me, I think maybe it was our second or even our first anniversary. We're coming up to our third in February, but it's once, you know, somebody said, hey, you know, you guys have been doing this for 2 years, and for me, I'm always on the grind. I'm always like pushing, you know, the envelope with Techniche, trying to do better. You know, I'm my own worst critic, and
Yes.
I'm always trying to do like, what's the next level?
Yes.
You know, what else can we do?
Definitely.
So for me, it's like hard for me to sit back and go, oh, you know,
Yeah,
this
because
is-
there's
this
just
is
too many
great.
events
You know.
that you remember. So
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Sure.
What do you think of the underground music scene in San Diego? Positive and negative?
I think, well, I'm always going to be positive about it because I think it's growing. I mean, you know, the term underground is weird to me. I don't think it describes like a genre of music. It describes an event. Like underground event is somewhere that's at a warehouse, that's after hours, that's, you know, somewhere you're not supposed to be. But if you're talking about just like
Just
the techno, tech
non-mainstream,
house,
you know? Yeah,
non-mainstream
yes.
scene of that style of music, I think it's come a long way. But again, I've only been doing it for 6 or 7 years. Rudy's been doing it for a little longer, so we may have like really be able to see the difference. Maybe I'm just more in tune because I'm becoming more part of it. But I think it's going great. There's a lot of people doing a lot of good things. There's a lot of like your first guest, Sebastian Karma. He's doing a great event.
Yeah, Divinity.
Yeah, Divinity. The Native Alien guys. I mean, I can go on and on. I hesitate mentioning people because I'm already going to leave someone out. But there's just so much that's happening and it's building, and I see everyone working together like I never saw 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
There's just too much separation, but it's really coming together, and I'm happy for that. So I think it's going good.
And we have one more question by Sam, the bomb question.
Okay, this is a little tough, and you can answer this however you feel comfortable. But this one's kind of going out to all the different DJs who haven't been doing this so long, or maybe have, and haven't felt like giving up yet. What was the biggest bomb, or maybe the worst situation you found yourself in? Either it was just not the right mood for the right crowd, or some kind of big difficulty that you had to overcome.
Well, I'll go first. I mean, for me, it was just, technical malfunctions of the equipment just going out, and, you're in the middle of a set and everything just shuts down. The crowd doesn't know what's going on.
That's the
They
worst.
just think it's my fault. And to somehow play that off, or at least to get it going again, you literally just want to, like, walk out and just be like, no, I'm done.
Did you get booed? Did you get tomatoes thrown at you?
No,
Cartoons?
it wasn't so much a boo, but there was definitely a lot of noise, coming that wasn't positive from the crowd. So it's just, that's really it. I mean, when you're DJing, that's the moment that's going to just ruin everything for you. At least it feels like it when you're up there, and, either you train wreck, or, fortunately, I don't recall too many train wrecks for myself, even when I was first starting out.
And hopefully the audience doesn't either.
Yeah, exactly. Usually I'm like the only one that feels like I'm train wrecking, and everyone's like, no, you're fine. But there's been times where, the equipment cuts out or something happens with that, and it's just like, oh man, it can't, it's just so embarrassing.
What about you, Myxzplix?
Well, I mean, I've had a long career, so it's definitely happened a few times. But I'll just say most recently is we had James Hopkins from Toronto, Canada, come out recently, and he was one of our guest DJs, and I was playing after him, and something got lost in translation when I was going on, and I ended up stopping like his track that I was supposed to mix into, and I was so prepared. I was like so excited to play my set. He played a great set. It was a great night, and I was ready to jump on, and I just ended up stopping like his track by accident.
Oh,
and
no.
It was, probably a half a second before I caught it, luckily. But it was just one of those things where it's just like, oh man, like, it's just
You
like,
can't mess that with
yeah.
reverb.
yeah. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. I mean, like, it happens as a DJ. But that was probably one of the things that I'll never forget. But that's just me being hard on myself. I don't think the crowd really like
It
I
happens.
was there, and I don't
It's
remember
like,
that.
I was there. It was horrible.
I was there. And I don't remember that happening. So
Yeah, something I've heard so many times from so many different people is not only are you your own harshest critic, but you'll remember so much more about your own mistakes and your own, passé, faux pas, anything you mistakenly do. I mean, honestly, think about the last time you heard a DJ mess up when you were watching someone set or just standing backstage. I personally can't recall, and I've been to plenty of events. I've seen both sides, from crowd, from running the stage. So it's just great for everybody to know that it's a family. You all support each other.
Yeah. It's okay to make mistakes.
we
We're
all
human.
do.
It's about how you recover.
especially
Well,
if you're a real DJ.
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
If you're not just pressing play and like twisting knobs,
Pressing
like that's
play
how
and
you
sync.
that's how you know the DJ is DJing for real
If
when he
it's-
makes mistakes.
Exactly. If it's like a completely flawless set,
It's like,
what happened?
I don't know.
But I don't know. I always like to say if you're not making mistakes, you're probably not making anything at all.
You're not
Yeah.
trying hard enough.
Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing
Of course.
your stories. And I just want to remind everyone that this is KCR College Radio, AM 1610 on SDSU, the award-winning Sound of State
Yep.
All right, here we go with the next mix.
by Myxzplix.
Myxzplix.
I didn't get a chance to answer the question.
It's okay. We went a little over, but you guys have really thorough answers, so it's okay.
I can go on. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We went a little over in every time, but it's cool. Whoa! Whoa!
That's why he was the place like.